Hey, what's up, CollectionDX fans? This is your old pal NecroDave back after a long hiatus from doing video reviews. So why am I back? What brings me back to the camera? Well, a few weeks back, our old pal Josh B said he needed somebody to do a review of a jumbo-sized, minimally articulated figure. And, well, let's just say I have something of a history with those. This is the TIE Pilot from Star Wars, and it comes to us courtesy of the good folks at Jakks Pacific. What we have here is basically an 18-inch simple figure, and it comes from the Star Wars Rebels show as opposed to the vintage trilogy. Although the design is basically very similar, if not exactly the same. This figure comes in a box, we'll call it. It's sort of a half box, kind of half, we'll just call it a cardboard containment system. And it's great because you can actually see the entire figure in there. So if you're worried about any condition issues or whatever, you can always take a look at it. And they come strapped in, but I've taken the liberty of cutting them out so that I can access the figure more easily for you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the figure out, and we'll just take a quick look at the rest of the packaging so we can see what's in there. As you can see, it's very simple. We've got no artwork or anything on the back. We do have a Stormtrooper helmet there on the corner, which actually wraps around to the side of the box. The only thing I won't say I don't like about it, but I tend to be very big on symmetry, and that kind of gives us a asymmetrical thing where we have the looping part on one side but not on the other, but that's not a big deal at all. Honestly, this is maybe horrible to hear for any of the hardcore collectors out there, but I really don't keep the packaging for these types of figures, so I tend to throw the whole box away anyway. On the back, I kind of love that we have what appears to be just somebody cosplaying as a TIE pilot. I'm not really sure if that's exactly what that is, if that's a employee of the company or if it's from somewhere else that I'm unaware of. But as you can see, it shows the features. We've got 7 points of articulation, 18 inches tall. It's got a blaster. And on the bottom, they just show some of the other figures. Now, it says collect them all, and they show just 3 figures. But I've seen several others that are not pictured there. So I think there's, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8, maybe even more out already. All right, so we'll get rid of that. Just take a quick look at the figure. Now, as I said, this is from Star Wars Rebels. And Rebels is a new show that kind of takes place after the prequels, but before the original trilogy, kind of showing the origins of the Rebel Alliance. Now, at the time of this filming, Rebels is, I think, about 4 episodes in, but the first appearance of the TIE Pilot actually came in a little short film before the season actually started, a little short called Property of Ezra Bridger, in which a new character who is a budding Jedi and a thief at the same time basically steals the helmet of a TIE Pilot in a little short, like 5-minute episode. So it's just a little introduction to the character to get everybody excited for the show. The figure, like I said, is 18 inches tall. Whoops, 7 points of articulation. The arms obviously go up and down. It's very simple. It's very like a vintage Kenner figure. Legs move, both obviously. The hands can be turned. So if the TIE Pilot wants to be all gangster and whatnot. And also the head turns a little bit. And I say a little bit because, as you can see, we have this tubing here going to the thing on his chest. So although it does allow movement, it does tend to pull it back a little bit. I don't think that's a big issue anyway. I think anybody who's buying this is going to be one of 2 categories. One, a kid who's probably just going to take it and, wow, boom, 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 doesn't really care, going to play with it. Or an adult collector like myself who has fond memories of the old simple figures and just happens to like the bigger style. So I don't think the articulation is a problem. The gun, the E11 blaster, is permanently molded into the hand, so that does not come out, which I think is fine. Again, we've got a trigger finger there, which if it's going to be all the way in there, yeah, then it makes sense. But one of the things that struck me as, I won't say an oversight, but it's just something that made me think, like if you look here at the pack on the front, it's almost begging to have a battery in there, a little AA. So my first thought was, it would have been cool if it had some sort of, maybe a talking feature or something like that. But honestly, for the money that you have to pay for this, this is only about $20 honestly, I could probably do without that. I'd rather keep the smaller price point. Just something that I thought of as soon as I saw that little shape. Also on here, it would be a super minor complaint, but in the show, the colors of these little switches are actually reversed. You have the white one on the left and then 2 blue ones, if I remember correctly. I'll probably do a written review as well, and you can check out a picture of that from the show in there. And speaking of this area, this is basically the only place on there where there's really any color detail. Obviously, we got all the little buttons colored in, slightly different colors over here, white, black, 2 different shades of blue. Belt buckle, of course. We also have the little emblems up on the shoulders and on the helmet. But beyond that, you're looking at a pretty much straight black figure, which I'm sure is making it probably difficult to see detail on here, but hopefully you can see it fine. We'll take a look at the back and see what we got on there. Again, very plain. We've got a lot of different screw holes, which, you know, some people might not like, but honestly, I don't care. Typically, this is just going to be up on display on my shelf, standing there majestically above some of its smaller brethren, so to speak. But again, yeah, a pretty simple figure. If you like big figures, particularly if you like vintage Star Wars, you know, these are a great value. You know, some will probably say it's apples and oranges, but, you know, you got this at 18 inches tall for roughly $20, which you can grab, you know, pretty much any, you know, toy shop or whatever, your Toys R Us, etc. And then you also have, you know, like the jumbo-sized Gentle Giant figures, which are 12 inches tall and $80. So, I mean, like I said, you know, some people may prefer that the exact vintage replica, and that's totally fine, you know. But if you're kind of collecting on a budget and you just like bigger figures, and that describes me to a T, these are really a great value. All right, so one last thing quickly before I go. You know, I mentioned that the figure is entirely black and it may be difficult to see in the camera. So I want to pull the camera off my tripod and try to just zoom in a bit and get a look at the figure. And here we go, as we just zoom in on the helmet there. I want you to see as much detail as we can. Like I said, it's tough to see through the camera if you're actually seeing any of it, but get the hoses there. And I don't even know what that thing on the chest is called. I probably should have researched that first. It's called the thing on his chest as far as I'm concerned right now. Get a look at the E11 blaster. Like I said, permanently molded into the hand. The boots. So yeah, pretty simple figure. But, you know, if you're a jumbo collector like myself, if you just love Star Wars, whoops. Certainly worthy of your collection, I think. You know, like I said, it's really just a great value. A lot of times when you see these jumbo-sized figures, they come with very heavy price tags. So getting something like this for $20 and it's not too big, maybe not too small. It's a really good display piece. So before I go, I just want to thank Jakks Pacific once again for sending this over to us and letting us check it out and show it to you. Take care.